Dominik Chowaniec, kłaniam się i zapraszam na wywiad z Mattem Duskiem, wokalistą oraz kompozytorem z Kanady, który ma na koncie 4 złote płyty, 2 platynowe. Współpracował z wieloma artystami, ograniczając się do polskiej sceny. Wymienię tylko Natalię Kukulską, Edytę Górniak, Andrzeja Piasecznego, czy też Kubę Badacha. Matt, thank you for coming.
Dziękuję bardzo. Thank you for having me.
We are glad that you are here with us.
This is my day off. I want to spend it with you.
Yeah, cool. You have recorded over 10 albums. You have played hundreds of concerts, yeah. But I would like to go back to when you were a kid. Do you remember your first thought, I want to be a singer? It's for me.
Man, it's a good question. I don't think I ever had a choice. My parents, they threw me into a choir school at, I think I was 7 years old. And I just became music became part of my everyday routine. I didn't think there'd be a career out of it. And over time, you know, as a kid, you're growing up in the choir, or you're, you know, singing in, you know, small rock bands as a teenager or whatever. You just see the joy that it brings people. It's almost like music is a community. It brings people together.
When we were last talking, you mentioned VHS cassette with Nat King Cole, with Ella Fitzgerald. Would you mind telling something more about it?
Yeah, I remember I got these VHS cassettes, which I get at a garage sale, and it'd be, you know, like Frank Sinatra sings here, or Nat King Cole, and then we got DVDs.
Yeah, DVDs.
And I remember as a young kid watching the way they would move on stage, and I'd be in my basement with my suit, no socks, no shoes.
Oh, man.
But I would be there watching the moves that they would do, because I found it was, why not learn from the greats? Everybody learns from someone who's much older and better than them.
With a hairdryer.
Yeah.
But now right. you've got microphones.
That's right. I remember I had this old microphone connected to a bass amp, like a bass, and all you hear is a...
Sounds cool. What about St. Michael's Choir School?
Yeah.
How do you remember your time spent there?
Listen, being at a school where you're hanging out with the same classmates year after year, and you're also going on the road, like you're traveling to Europe, you're traveling to the Caribbean, to the States, anywhere really, without your parents at 10 years old,
it's a big thing.
You have a connection with these people who become your family. And even to this day, from my class, there's 10 of us that we still talk every day. Those kind of experiences all came from us celebrating music together. So, I mean, music does have a place outside of just la la la.
It was all about classical music?
It was all classical for the church. We sang for the Catholic Church, and we traveled to go sing in churches.
And when you become interested in jazz music, popular music,
well, I think
remember?
It was, so think of you and your friends on, you know, at a young teenage years, no parents, and you bring cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And you start trading them around, right? He's like, oh, here's my mixtape, or, you know, you get the different songs. And someone gave me a CD that was Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Tony Bennett. And I was like, wow, this is so romantic. Like, it has this classiness about it, like old America. And I fell in love with it.
Who was Bob Fenton?
So
very important person.
Yeah, he probably is the reason I'm here today. I remember as a kid growing up listening to all those great old records, I discovered karaoke. And you know, when you're doing karaoke, you're really trying to imitate. And the problem is when you're imitating, it's not really you. But I was fortunate that a lot of people identified that I had some sort of talent. So, but listen, looking back then, it's like I want to put my head in the sand and go, wow, how bad. But when I was in university, I was like, hey, I'll try out for this jazz program. They assigned me with this gentleman. His name was Bob Fenton. He was a man who played with, you know, Billie Holiday and played with Chet Baker. And he was a man who was part of that scene. He's been passed away for a long time, but he said, listen, kid, you can't sing worth crap. but we'll teach you how to sing jazz.
And what was special about his teachings?
He didn't have a voice of singing. He, you know, a guy who's been smoking all his life, living the hard life of a jazz musician, you gotta talk like this. He said, listen, you don't need to have a voice to sing. You gotta learn how to phrase. And every time he would sing, it was no notes, but it was beautiful.
How do you remember recording your first album?
My first album...
first step in your career. Yeah.
So I always had this dream to play on stage and live in front of other people. So I made this record. It was called Matt Dusk Live in Concert. And I got all these, you know, karaoke tracks and I sang them, but then I also wrote out script for in between the songs. And I went to ice hockey arenas and I took microphones and I would record people cheering and clapping.
It was good.
So this whole record is a fake record. My friends are like, woo! In the background with all like, ah. It's ridiculous. But dreams come true.
But sounds cool. Yeah, really. So it was your first concert with clapping, yeah?
Yeah,
recorded
my first
on
fake
CD.
concert.
And
But I remember a funny story. Someone said, wow, how did you play in a theater for 4,000 people? I said, well, you know, you got to have a dream, you know?
And your normal first concert, how is what like?
My first concert, I don't know, 3,000 concerts ago? I don't know.
Yeah, really? Thousands?
I mean, even from the choir school, we would perform, we would go on tour singing different music. For the jazz music, I just did it for fun. I don't remember.
So maybe the first concert was with a hairdryer in your basement. Yeah? Okay.
Or in my backyard at a pool party.
Yeah. What's the difference between a concert in a large hall and a concert in a small club? What's the energy?
Man, I love playing in small clubs. It's my favorite. It's just there's such a dynamic of putting people in a small area and feeling like they're part of something unique. Like, I love going to concerts of all types of music. You know, one of my favorite concerts was going to see Coldplay perform. You know, there's like 60,000 people, and the thing is cool. But imagine them in 250.
Yeah.
For me, that is the best. So anytime I can play a small club, it's my passion.
You sing, but you also compose.
I try.
Please tell us something about your process. Of
Composing?
Yeah. You sit and play on piano and smoke a cigar? Or
Yeah.
What?
So usually what I'll do is I'll make some sort of, you know, basic track of some chords, and then figure out what is the intention of what are we writing about. And I remember I did this record called Jet Set Jazz, and I have this passion of traveling, because the more you travel, the more you realize you know nothing. Like I was in the mall here in Olsztyn trying to communicate. They don't speak English, I don't speak Polish, and then we have our app.
Yeah.
But the app gets everything wrong. It's like
the third language.
What time do you close? And it says, how much for watermelon? But those things are part of what make composing music fun, because you are going into the unknown. So you start with the chords and you write some lyrics, and then you usually throw it out and start over again.
Yeah, step by step.
But
this way,
always
after a few 3 minutes, that way. Yeah.
Always failing.
Always.
That's the thing about music. You're always failing.
You often reach for old songs. What's special about these songs?
I was born a performer. Like I said, going to the choir school, singing on stage, starting in small jazz clubs. When you love music and someone walks into the room and you can sing a song and you know they have a memory of that music as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to say hello, how are you? You can look each other, communicate with the music, and whoosh, you're right there. You can't go to a bar and do that. Hello, hey, how you doing? It takes time, but with music, That's what I love about the old music, so much memory.
And what's the recipe for a good arrangement? How much of the original should be retained, or how much of yourself should?
It depends. Like if you go see a classical music concert or an opera, the arrangement has to be 100% the same. Sometimes with popular music, it's very important to have the arrangement be the same. This is my opinion, of course. Some people think you can do it many other ways. As an example, sometimes we don't have a big orchestra, so we have to find a way to play it with a small band. Or vice versa, where you have an arrangement, just a ballad, and you make strings. I think a great arrangement comes down to how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel comfortable? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel happy? I always try to do new stuff, but I also love the old arrangements because they're just perfect.
So the main goal is that feeling, yeah?
The feeling is to connect. You want your audience to connect, otherwise I might as well be singing in the shower.
During our last interview, I asked you about your new song, Human.
Yeah.
And I asked you if does it herald something bigger, an album? And you joked something like, oh, if you buy the album, I will record it. Is it worth recording albums these days? Is there a problem?
It's a good question, because the answer is yes. It's always good to make an album if you want to. I think from the artist's perspective, not mine, but I'm saying any artist, what do you want to say? You know, I'm very fortunate where I think I've recorded over 400 songs so far that have been registered, like released. Do I need to record?
Do you want?
Do I? I always want to, because I love the exploration of making music. I love it. But the financial cost of making a record in a world of singles like Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal, there's no financial reward. So even from a radio station point of view, like if you have an artist that goes, hey, I made this new record, okay, we're going to play the track. Well, the radio station's only going to play one, maybe two. I mean, even if you're like The Weeknd or you're Katy Perry or Justin Bieber, they're only playing one or two songs, maybe three, maybe four, if it's a global success. So making an album, does it come down to the preference of the artists, really?
And how much does it cost to record an album for you? You and few musicians, few sessions in studio?
Listen, I say on the low end, you can get away with, you know, $4,000, $5,000 US a track. So, you know, you put 10 songs in, could be 200,000 zloty. And when you think about how much streaming pays, it would take you, let's see, if I do the math in my head really quick, 50, 60, 70 million spins. That's crazy.
A lot.
It's possible. But it's also, I'm not Justin Bieber. You know?
Maybe you will be more famous.
Oh, well, I doubt it, but anyways.
We play your numbers, your songs. How did you start working with Polish artists?
I remember when it was, I think, 2012, I believe, I got a call from Monica at Magic Records. She says, I got this, how would you think about recording a duet with Edyta Górniak? For me, because I'm a jazz artist, collaboration is what we do. Every show is a collaboration. If it's not with an artist, it's with the audience. So if someone says, hey, I want to come up on stage and sing, I'm like, bring them up. You know, most of the time. And then having that opportunity, it's a story. It's not just me talking about myself. It's talking about two artists coming together from opposite sides of the earth, coming together to collaborate on one song. And then that started into performing with Margaret, with just
the whole CD, yeah?
What's the whole CD?
Whole CD, yeah.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, it's my favorite song, really.
I got to tell you, you know, when you do recordings now, and people rarely go into the studio like us and start going, okay, it's made over the internet in different parts of the world, and but when you meet with the artist and you perform live, that's the magic. So that's where it all started. Then it was, there's Natalia Kukulska, Eva Bem, Sana. I met Sana when she was just starting out. I remember we met at a sushi restaurant, and she brought her violin. She was just
really?
It was just us two. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late, and she's like, wow, what a career. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You are visiting us during the Back in Town tour. What are your impressions? You have played a few concerts.
Man, so when you put together a show, there's so much work. Like we added, I think, 10 new songs to the set. I think there's 20. And each one of those songs takes about 1 week to build. From the arrangement to what are people playing to the music charts to there's so much excitement but stress. What if it doesn't work out? What will it sound like? What will the band sound like when we play? Sometimes when I sing on stage, the emotion is so much I have difficulty singing because the crowd is just in my mind. I had a vision, but watching them do what I feel inside is like explosion. Dancing on the stage, them screaming.
Yeah, after thousands of concerts, you've got it sometimes?
Me?
Yeah.
Still, every time I do a show.
Every time?
Every time. I get nervous before every show.
I suppose Olsztyn is close to your heart.
Yeah, it's like my second
because
home.
Because your big love comes from Olsztyn. Would you mind telling us
the
story?
So I was living in Las Vegas for 4 years, 2004 to 2008, and I was born in Toronto, so I would come home to see my friends and family, and just like today, I need a haircut, so I'm going for a haircut in Olsztyn after this. I used to go to this spa, and her name's Yulita, and I met her there, and I saw this girl, and I was like, oh, you're kind of funny, you're cute. Let's go for a coffee, and the rest.
Magic happens.
The rest is history.
The rest is.
We were. It wasn't one of those things where you meet somebody and it's like dynamite. Because I was always traveling. Oh, hey, I'm in town. You want to go for dinner? Okay. 6 months later, hey, you want to. And she's from here, and now I'm from here.
Yeah. Do you sing with her sometimes?
Oh God. I was trying to get her to come in and do the interview. She's like, no.
Maybe you will record the whole album.
God,
together.
No. I think I always make a joke. A microphone is like a gun. You put it in front of someone's face, they don't say anything.
Will you spend Easter in Poland or Canada?
I'm going to Netherlands. So
yeah, really?
Netherlands. So right after we finish, I've got some shows in Netherlands. And then, so I have virtual Easter.
Virtual Easter. Nice. What are the Easter customs in Canada?
The traditions? I mean, obviously the religious ones. Obviously, we have the same.
But please tell us.
Wow, come on. I mean, if you're a Catholic, you go to church on Easter Sunday. We have the same thing on Good Friday. You go to church. Obviously, after church, we put eggs everywhere in plastic with chocolates. We hide them around the garden, and then me or my friend will dress up like the Easter Bunny, and then we get the kids all together and they all go. It's silly, but it's it's fun.
It's all about fun, yeah.
It's about family. It's getting together and spending, and obviously celebrating birth of Christ. Sorry, the resurrection of Christ.
What's your recipe for a good holidays?
Great holidays?
Yeah.
A bed.
Bad?
Time.
A big bad? Music? Frank Sinatra?
Let me think
Tony
here.
Bennett?
That's a good question. Because I travel so much, when I get home, I never leave. So everybody comes to our house. We have a nice bar, we make cocktails, we play board games, card games, watch movies, learn how to speak Polish. No.
Really? Well.
Because you drink too much and then you forget all the stuff.
What are your upcoming musical plans? New songs, an album maybe, a new tour in Poland?
So I've got this idea I'm working on, which is actually very cool. Like in terms of what I've recognized about music. I ask you, what kind of music do you like?
Man, medley, jazz, blues,
everything.
hip hop, yeah, everything,
right? And about a year ago, it was International Jazz Day, and I made this silly video of me singing Taylor Swift as a Latin song, and I just posted it on socials for a joke. Like, I was just like, okay, here. And then it has like 2 million views. And then the one you spend $5,000 on has 2 views. It's the opposite. So I'm working on this project where I'll be doing 150 covers over the course of a year with taking pop songs and doing them in different, jazz or merengue or tango, or having fun and making people have a good smile.
It's been a long time since you started singing.
A long time.
And what do you think when you look
40
back
years.
at your career?
Oh man, I have a career?
Yeah.
Outside of saying, oh wow, realistically, careers are full of ups and downs. I remember I was spending some time with Paul Anka at his house. I'm sure you know who Paul Anka. Yeah, he wrote the English lyrics to My Way, obviously very famous pop artist. And he said to me, careers all are about the ups and the downs, and the ups and the downs. The ups. The thing is when you're young and you go through the ups and downs, they're difficult. As you get older, you just understand that that's the world turns. The sun rises, the sun sets. There's many times I've thought about quitting, many different reasons. But what I did discover is I love music. And even if no one will pay for a ticket to come see me or want to listen to me, I will always still love music. I look back at my career, and that's what my career taught me, is that music is always there. It doesn't ask you of anything. Whatever happens with my career is fine with me.
And we will play your music.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Yeah. Matt, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Have a great concerts in Olsztyn, in other towns.
I appreciate the time. I really do.
Happy Easter.
I'm glad I came here today.
We're glad to. Thank you very much.
Dziękuję.